Let's talk about these BES Bertagni SM255 MK2 speakers. They are mid-70s electroacoustic speakers. They're essentially styrofoam. They're a series of styrofoam drivers in like a planar setup. I guess they were trying out new things in the 70s, as we know. They're pretty much panned across the board in most forums. Every now and then you'll come across a post where somebody actually likes these. I happen to like them. I think that they need to be set up correctly and you need to use the right equipment, but I happen to think that they're actually pretty cool speakers. There's a few things, like I said, that you need to keep in mind when you set these up. In my opinion, they need to be minimum 3 to 4 feet away from the wall, and they need to be angled a little bit if you're really going to critically listen to these. Just a little bit towed in, nothing too crazy. I'm going to keep looking back at my notes because I have a lot to say, and a lot of it's stuff that I just don't have memorized off the top of my head, so I'll try my best. I don't recommend tubes. I recommend solid state just because of the bass response. It needs to be fast and immediate, and in my experience, tubes just don't really do that. There's kind of like there is a sag that is present with tubes, and you don't want that with these speakers. These drivers like to be pushed. You don't want to listen to these casually, you know, let's just jam quietly these things. No, they need to be cranked, okay? They need to be cranked, some volume. First thing I want to say is separation. That is what these speakers are about. That's what I believe, that's what they were made for. They have incredible spatial, like the spatial cues is just amazing. It's just really, really good. Surprisingly good. They have a great soundstage. When they're angled, like I said, you can actually pick out certain instruments. And okay, well, there's a snare. There's a little bit of a detail that the producer was doing with some panning, depending on the song. It just sounds so good with separation. That's one thing I will point out. The separation is just amazing. Bass is much better than I thought it was going to be. I've heard much worse bass from different speakers. It's just really, it's tight and musical sounding bass. It has like a specific character, and at lower volumes you can kind of tell, okay, well, it sounds like it's coming from a styrofoam speaker. Well, when it's cranked up, I didn't really get that impression. It had a different tonality, I think, but I liked it. It wasn't like, oh, this sounds like a cheap speaker. No, it actually sounded decent. I didn't hear any clipping, no distortion whatsoever, at a fairly decent volume. Mine are in good shape. They're not broken. The glue hasn't separated like I read. Some of them can have issues. Obviously, they can't produce sub-lows like a Polk Monitor 10B, which is another speaker that I normally listen to when I'm comparing amplifiers. I run those just because I'm really familiar with the way they sound. These speakers don't do that sub-low thing at all. They have a bass, but it's just not sub-lows, but at least the bass is there, and it sounds musical and it sounds natural sounding. It's a natural sounding bass. It's not too much. I would say that I appreciate, which is strange because I have a different opinion on the rectilinear pots, but with these speakers, I appreciate the fact that they actually have some kind of an adjustment for the mid-range and the high-end. Now on the rectilinears, I crank them all the way open because it doesn't help it when you have them anywhere but all the way open. On these, however, the high-end can get spiky. So I have the mid-range. I love mid-range, so I crank the mid-range all the way open, and then I move the treble about a quarter of the way from all the way open. So just a little bit off from being open, maybe 75% of the way open. And I love the high-end. The high-end detail was just phenomenal. I really don't think they deserve the hate that they get, or the lukewarm love that they get. I think it's not warranted at all. I think they're really good speakers. They just need to be set up correctly, just like mostly every other speaker. Some speakers, as you know, they just sound good no matter what angle. Some speakers can pull off some magic tricks, but these are not those speakers. They need to be set up correctly, and you need to be using decent gear. You need to have whatever's providing your signal, it needs to be decent. You need to have really good quality streaming. Whatever you're using, DAC, whatever, needs to be decent enough. to take advantage of the clarity that these speakers are really capable of, and the soundstage and everything else in between. All in all, I enjoy them. They're not bad speakers. They went through my normal playlist with ease. I thoroughly think that they're enjoyable speakers to listen to. That's all there is to say. I want to make a note of some of the songs that I use to listen. Now, I know I went through my normal playlist, which I'm not going to go through my whole playlist, but some of the songs that I liked a lot when I was listening to them critically, two of them are actually Romanian songs. Just the style of music, I thought it sounded really good. Okay, it was De Unde Vi La Ora Sta from Smiley, and then Bolnavi Amandoi from Irina Rhymes. And then, obviously, I think guitar sounds amazing with these speakers. Flamenco sounds unbelievable. So there's a song called Fuego, Guitarra Flamenca by Gypsy Flamenco Masters. Okay, so I guess the artist is called Gypsy Flamenco Masters, and the song is Fuego-Guitarra Flamenca. That, with these speakers cranked, was awesome. Obviously, I ran with my normal, like I said, playlist. Seal Crazy was just really cool. And one thing, I heard something, which happens often, depending on what speaker I'm listening to. I hear a different instrument. So with this song, with Seal Crazy, I actually heard, on the bass guitar, I heard the vibration of the strings against the fretboard. Like I could actually hear that, which I never heard that before. Which a lot of times when you're actually fretting on a bass, the strings will actually bounce on the higher frets. It's just how basses are. But that's just how much detail that these speakers actually had, and they had so much detail they provided, and the type of high end that they had. It was just really cool. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of my little review on these, and I hope you like them, and I sure did. So. They will be going to another home, though. I'm not going to be keeping them just because I have speakers that I like more, and my wife does not appreciate me having piles of speakers, so I will be selling these. But anyway, that's all I have for you. Thanks.